Good afternoon from the National Weather Service. This is Vernon Preston. I'm going to take a couple minutes of your time to talk about where our weather is headed as we go into the month of March. Right now we've had a series of storms that have come into our area through the month of February, and right now we're really wet with the Pineapple Express bringing lots of moisture in, especially with snowpack into our central mountains and even the southern portions of Idaho. Those are going to continue at least through Thursday. And we get a small break on Friday, a little weaker storm over the weekend, and another bigger storm coming back in for the middle of next week. And I want to show you our wet pattern continues in through mid-March. I want to take you back in time for a moment, back to 2017, and show you a similar contrast of what's happening right now. And that is, if you look back to January of 2017, you can see the southern part of Idaho was pretty moist. And a month later, you can see that it increased quite a bit, and that was due to the type of storms that were coming in that had a lot of Pacific moisture associated with those. Now we fast forward to this year, and you can see between February 4th and February 25th, the same sort of pattern occurred where we were just near average or a little bit below average across southern Idaho. And then by yesterday, February 25th, you can see that all the state was at least at average or starting to go above average for our snowpack. In fact, overnight between Monday night and into Tuesday, you can see the drastic increase in the amount of snowpack that has occurred across southern Idaho. And this has some concerns for us overall. Now, if we compare 2 years ago, almost the exact same day, you can see we're not quite as bad as we were in 2017, but we continue to increase that snowpack. And so that's one of the things we just wanted to make you as our partner aware of. Another way of visualizing this is a map view of our snowpack, and this is the amount of liquid equivalent of water inside the snow. And you can see that in our central mountains and over in the Teton Range, and even portions of the Bear River Basin, have anywhere from 20 to 30 inches of liquid content. If we compare that to 2 years ago, you can see that we're not quite as bad as we were, but we are starting to increase. I'll just toggle back and forth a couple of times. So this is this year. This was 2 years ago. This year and 2 years ago. So just want to give a visualization that we're not quite as bad as 2017, but we've had a banner month of February overall for our snowpack. So where are we headed overall with the next few weeks or so? Right now we continue in this moist pattern flowing up from the tropics. You can see this band that's coming up through Hawaii, plus a second band that's coming off the Eastern Pacific. So as we look ahead to tomorrow and into Thursday, that wet trend continues. Rain down in the lower valleys, snow basically above 5,500 feet and above that. And then Thursday, you can see this cold front's going to be swinging by. And so that's going to impact our overall weather and produce more snow down at the lower elevation as we finish up on Thursday. Through this storm sequence, you can see that the Central Mountains and also the Eastern Highlands into the Tetons have a very good potential to receive 2 to 3 feet of snow before this storm sequence is done. And that's going to play a major role in the amount of snow as we continue into the future. And then finally, as we finish up in the short term here, we have had some warning and rain down in the lower elevations. And so you can see in this map where the red areas are, that's where the snow is starting to ripen up and it's actually starting to melt. And there is a potential for some lowland ponding and maybe even some isolated flooding conditions. So if you are concerned with those particular areas, you may need to check those out through the next Thursday time frame. And then a little bit of colder air is going to come in over the weekend. The trend, though, continues this cold, wet pattern as we look for that first week of March, March 3rd through the 7th. You can see overall the potential is to be below normal temperatures in the upper left-hand corner, and that moist Pacific air continues to flow in, at least for the southern part of Idaho, and of course all the Great Basin region. You can see that the likelihood to be above normal. Even into the second week of March, you can see that trend expands a little further into Idaho, but continues overall to be cooler than normal and wetter. Our Climate Prediction Center, looking into that time frame, has highlighted some concerned areas that all it takes is that jet stream to shift just a little further north in those areas of concern where heavy precipitation or freezing precipitation actually could start to come up into Idaho. In fact, you can see that overall for precipitation areas, they are highlighting at least our southern areas, to have that risk of heavy precipitation through March 11th. And then finally, looking at the middle to end of March, the overall trend shows a large trough of pressure into the central United States, warm on the East Coast, and then on the West Coast, we're kind of in this transition area where it looks like the storms will be coming kind of a westerly pattern and maybe shifting to more northwesterly for the latter half of March. So you can see that that wet trend is starting to come into the Pacific Northwest, which could impact the central and northern parts of Idaho. So based on these conditions, how things have changed over the last month, our flood outlook now for central and eastern Idaho, now we have moved all of our river basins into low to moderate risk potential. A lot of our reservoirs are full or near full conditions, and with this additional snow, there may be some concerns that they'll have to start releasing water a little early in order to accommodate the overall snowpack that continues to build. So in summary, our wet storms continue through Thursday with a cold front coming through, small break on Friday, weak storm over the weekend, and then another bigger storm, more of the southern portion of Idaho into the Great Basin for the middle of next week, and that wet pattern continues. To finish up, just talk a bit about some communication tools that are available to you in real time, both our Facebook page, our Twitter, and then also for those that have signed up with NWS Chat, you can talk at any time to a forecaster live on our chat. We also provide weather briefings. We are teaming up with Boise for a southern Idaho look now, and those are on Mondays and Thursdays at 8:30 in the morning. And if you need those details information, you can always contact our office and we can get those to you, or you can pause the video here and write those down. We also, from our office in Pocatello, every morning by 5 in the morning, do a recorded briefing to help you for your planning for the next 7 to 8 days. And you can get that at weather.gov/Pocatello and click on the forecast section, look for weather briefing, and go ahead and click there. So we appreciate your time here, and hopefully that will provide you some information as you start planning for the month of March. As any case, you can always talk to a weather forecaster 24 hours a day. Our phone number is here on the page, 208-233-0834. And look forward to serving you as we come into the spring time frame.